Nice to be back. Hello and thanks for joining the first edition of Journalist Hangout this week. I'm Ayodele Ozubakun. Today on the program, PDP clinches the nail-biting win in Osun governorship election as INEC orders rerun. Former EFCC chairman Nuru Ribadu joins Adama governorship race, and later on the show, bandits return to Zamfara, kidnap 7, demand 100 million naira ransom. I'll be hanging out with Babajide Kolade-Otitoju, Mayor Akikpelu, and Wale Adiri. So if you're ready, let the hangout start now. Let's begin today's show on a celebratory note. It was a harvest of awards for TVC Communications as your darling station won 3 big awards at this year 12th edition of Nigeria Media Night Out Awards. TVC beat 4 other stations to win the Television Station of the Year award for its huge contribution to the media industry and leadership skills in socio-economic development of the country. Not done. Head of TVC News, TVC Babajide Kolade-Otitoju claims the Best Political Analyst of the Year award for his versatility and well-researched contributions to your popular discussion program, Journalist Hangout. Also, yours truly also walked home with the Proactive Anchor of the Year. Let's share some moments of that award as captured by news correspondent that's Theophilus Elama in this package.
Political Analyst of the Year in the person of
Mr. Babajide Otitoju.
Otitoju.
Little tragedy, I couldn't picture 3 crazy niggas grabbing me. Just the moment I was trapped in the pain. Lord, come and take me for niggas violators. They chased and they break me, even though it wasn't me.
Together, media practitioners in an atmosphere away from the newsroom bustle. It aims to celebrate the good works done by members of the Fourth Estate in deepening democracy and the society. TVC was nominated alongside other media organizations, but the #1 station came up top.
And the award for the best TV station of the year goes to the outstanding station called TVC, TV Continental.
Television Continental.
Deserve the credit.
TVC beat 4 other stations to win the Television Station of the Year for its huge contribution to the media industry, coupled with its leadership skills in socio-economic development of the country. Not done. TVC Head of News, Babajide Kolade-Otitoju, clinched the Best Political Analyst of the Year for his versatility and well-researched contribution to the popular political program, Journalist Hangout. Also, Senior Political Correspondent Ayodele Ozubakun walked home with the Best Proactive Anchor of the Year.
In our country, we need real change. And it's a privilege that Journalist Hangout can contribute its own little quota to making change happen in our country. I have not given up about Nigeria. I still believe that Nigeria can be great. And I want every one of us here to play our own part in making Nigeria greater than it is. I dedicate this award to all those hard-working men and women at TVC. I believe that they do not get as much recognition as they deserve to get. The backroom boys, they make Journalist Hangout happen. Without them, I won't be where I am today.
I feel good. I feel grateful to God. It was the groundbreaking program of the year last year, but this year it's the most proactive anchor of the year, news and current affairs. Wow, I feel elated. I thank God, I bless God. I'm so much grateful to the management of TVC Communications.
Convener of the Media Night Out Award, Shola Olugbemiro, spoke on the giant strides achieved by TVC, hence the presentation of the award to the #1 media outfit.
Yes, we all view most of the programs on air, And we've now find out that the way most of the interviews are being breakdown for every layman to understand what is going on in the country, it's awesome. So we now felt they have done so much in contributing to the country at large. So that's why we honor them.
TVC has been adjudged the preferred channel by the viewers for providing informed news and quality of programming, all on its channels.
So congratulations, House.
Congratulations.
We all made it happen. Mayor.
Congrats. I am not surprised. In the course of this, I get to meet people every day. And the reach of journalists Hangout is unbelievable. Sometimes I'll be at the airport in foreign land, maybe trying to catch a flight and all that, and somebody walk up to me and try to think, I've seen your face somewhere. I'll just say, no, I'm just the regular guy and all that. And we say, hey, journalist Hangout, do you have something? And I say, yes. How is Babajide Kolade-Otitoju? I can imagine that Babajide will be one of the most recognized journalists in Nigeria, because every day people tend to send me to it. Sometimes people will send me to it, and I was okay, don't worry, I'll divide the number. But so I think that I want to congratulate everybody, also the background staff and those who make this program happen. I am proud to be associated with it, and I think this program is contributing a major thing in the Nigerian political space. A lot of people rely on journalists Hangout for so many things.
Wale Adeoye.
I can just say congratulations for a good job done. I'm not surprised because I know you really merit it. And I think it's the beginning of greater things to come.
Amen. So, can blow our trumpets.
It's a general purpose program. So it's not, when people say political program, it's a general purpose program. We discuss security, we discuss the military, we discuss business and economy. Sports. We discuss sports competently. Mayor used to be a sports editor. So many people will not realize that. So it's a program meant for this time. And since this is the best time for it, that's why we are winning all the accolades. I think the last 1 year up to 5 or 6 awards now. I know that more are on the way. We bless our fans because they push us on Facebook and other social media platforms to continue to give our best. And we can only promise you that we'll continue to give our best. We will not disappoint you.
Thank you so much to our viewers. Now, back to business. With 48 candidates jostling for a single seat, the stage is set for the Osun governorship election. Just Saturday, it was a keenly contested poll. At the end of the polling, on Saturday, candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Senator Ademola Adeleke, clinched a nail-biting win by just 353 votes, according to the results announced by the returning officer, Professor Joseph Fuakwe. Yes, Adeleke garnered 254,698 votes, while candidates of the All Progressive Congress, Boyega Oyetola, scored 354,000 votes, 345. But there are still some 3,498 votes up for grabs before a clear winner can emerge. Accordingly, INEC announced Thursday, September the 27th, for a rerun in polling units where election was cancelled for alleged irregularities, with the contest now narrowed down to 2-horse race. Who will carry the day eventually? But let's hear the verdicts from Professor Fuakwe.
The total number of registered voters at the polling units where elections were cancelled is 3,498. According to the election guideline, where the margin of win between two leading candidates is not in excess of the total number of registered voters of the polling units where elections were cancelled. A candidate or a party may not be returned. From the analysis of results that we have, the difference between the two leading parties is just 353. Unfortunately, as a returning officer, it's not possible to declare any party as the clear winner of this election. I hereby declare the election inconclusive.
That's the returning officer there, Professor Joseph Fuakwe. Now, Babajide, looking at what happened on Saturday and waiting for the result to come out, and we thought it was just a matter of simple majority, that a simple majority with 353 votes, that INEC will go ahead to declare the People's Democratic Party Senator Adeleke as the winner. The basis of which INEC used to order for that rerun, how tenable is it?
I think the big problem is INEC's lack of consistency. And if we have an electoral body that everyone looks up to, that cannot show consistency at critical moments, then it's a big problem. Governor Dixon, Seriake Dixon, won a second term in December 2016. The number of invalid votes exceeded the margin of his victory over Timipre Silva. INEC did not order a rerun. If I remember that the agent, because you people were there, the agent on that final day, the agent of Timipre Silva was making so much noise that there ought to be a rerun because of the margin of victory. David Mark, former Senate President, is in the Senate today. When he won his election for Benue South Senatorial District, the margin of victory, I mean, the margin of his victory was lower than the invalid votes. Then the most recent was the election in Kogi, where you saw clearly, and we had even talked about it here, that we were worried about the very high number of invalid votes. INEC did not order for a rerun. So it is INEC that puts words in the mouths of the Bukola Sarakis of this world, because you do not expect that all of them will have shot their brains to what happened in the past. When it comes to things like this, Nigerians are good students of history. They can recall that you didn't order a rerun in all those cases, where even the number of invalid votes was, was much higher than we had in Osun. So if the law is there, although we can point to what happened in Kogi, we have eventually Faleke was denied his chance of becoming governor of the state. We can point to that. But after what happened in Kogi, INEC has not been organizing reruns on account of invalid votes. This and they can organize rerun because of general violence, as it happened in Rivers State in 2015. They had to organize rerun because those elections were characterized by violence. But in this case, since Kogi, they've not had it. So my own feeling is maybe they felt at that time that, well, that what they did in Kogi was a mistake. Because Kogi happened, then we had Bayelsa, and they didn't organize a rerun in Bayelsa. All these things are documented. So they are the ones who put words in the mouths of critics. And those critics have valid grounds to say, oh, I know what's the matter this time around. But you see, I hope that people will go to court, and a Nigerian court, probably the final court in our country, the Supreme Court, will be able to give a landmark judgment that will put an end to this inconsistency by INEC, because the interpretations that some of them have given what has happened is, look, where an act is in conflict with the constitution of the country, the constitution takes preeminence. You know, so let our people test our law. Let people go to court over this, so that we can have a final judgment that will show clearly that in the event of this happening, it is only the courts that can decide.
But Wale, looking at that result, I was going through it yesterday and over again, and I discovered that it's a damning verdict for the All Progressive Congress, no doubt, because the government has been there for 8 years, and for them to be struggling to win. They're not even struggling. The PDP is ahead with 300 and something votes.
Well, I think it's an indication of so many things. In the first place, that margin, 353, I think is the smallest margin in the history of gubernatorial elections in this country.
I've never seen it.
And I think there are so many consequences, you know. First is the fact that if there is internal crisis within any party, it will definitely affect the outcome of the election. On both parties, you know, the SDP left the PDP, then the ADP left, you know, APC. Then the other factor is that it's significant in the sense that the vice president is from the southwest. So it raises question about the dominion of the APC, even in the territory where the vice president comes from. And I think it should propel the APC to reassess itself. Though naturally when the party is in power for 8 years, there is a tendency that people want to change, they want a change, either good or bad. But I think from APC to PDP, you know, shows that just a very few people see the fundamental difference between the two parties, because the margin is so small. So it raises the question, are the two parties really different in terms of perspective or perception of the public out there? But I think we need to commend INEC in so many areas. For instance, since 2003, this is the first time that elections will be held in Osun State without lives being lost. And then there were no substantial cases of ballot snatching. I think it was only in one case. Then I think INEC has actually improved. There was early voting, and then the introduction of braille for people with disabilities. And then the election was announced less than 72 hours. So I think we are making progress. But the way it is very difficult to predict who will actually emerge
at the end of the day.
At the end of the day. Or we have to wait until Thursday. The two parties need swing formula to be able to change, you know, to create a kind of a paradigm shift. But as it is now, nobody can clearly say that the day is going to be carried by APC or PDP.
Nobody ever saw Ademola Adeleke coming, as in terms of projection, because he was so embattled ahead of that election, the certificates, the forgery scandal, his numerous court cases and everything, even some days before the election, IG declaring that he should come before the president actually, you know, nullified that. I never saw it that he's going to give this kind of contest. I was looking at SDP. I was looking at Senator Iyola Omeshore, you know, coming as the kind of individual coming very, very strong in that race.
I think Senator Adeleke, Ademola Adeleke, is a child of destiny. Child of destiny because he never wanted to be governor. He never wanted to be a senator. If Gov, Isaka Adeleke had not died, there would not be issues of him becoming a senator. And I think that the problem of him being a governor, if mistakes were not made in APC, because when the real power behind the throne of the Adelekes, the Adeleke, the Adeleke, Davido's father, who is the real power behind the throne, is the one that is the silent person that sponsors all these political brothers He stays in the background, but he's the real power broker. When he reached out to the governor, Aregbe, and said, look, my brother died, and I want my kid brother to replace him. If they have accepted and allowed him to run, perhaps APC will have still won that seat. There won't be need, for example, for their delegates to want to contest the governorship. But when they were rejected, when they were refused, they had no choice, they moved to PDP. PDP saw an opportunity to be able to make an inroads, and they seized it with both hands. And today, the unbelievable happened. But I think it is an indictment on the government of Aregbe. He has to learn from it, because what it means is that, yes, development is good, but the welfare of the people had to be taken into consideration. Because given the kind of resources that they have in Osun, and when you look at the infrastructural development in Osun, relatively the government did well in the 8 years. But they did it by asking people to tighten their belts to a level that was unbearable. Yes, they had to pay out salaries to be able to, for people and all that. So people felt this government has not served us well enough. And they showed that by going to PDP. And that is the problem now, because it is unbelievable that just 4 years down the line, PDP that was so hated, and everybody felt that was the worst thing that could happen to us politically, for people to willingly go back to the same PDP is a very sad commentary on what the APC government have done in that state.
Mayor made a point, Jire, and it struck this kind of feelings in me, because if you go around Osogbo, if you see the public schools built by Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola, at a point in time in the heart of Osogbo, one of those public schools, the field was as big as two giant helicopters actually packed in the compound. And that's a public school. The infrastructure, when you get to one particular place, they call one road Onobaba Ono. And you know, it's intertwined. It's only, I was like talking about a massive infrastructural development. We gave it to him. But I think at a point in time, he was disconnected with the people. He didn't hear, he wasn't listening to their body language.
No, it's always a problem if you are struggling to pay salaries. I think that the APC was even able to do this well in the contest shows that the party is wrong. In other places where governors have failed to pay salaries, like Benue State, for example, even Plateau, the party in power was pushed out of office. So I think they've done well. Whether we like it or not, if the welfare of the people is a problem for a government, the people deserve to show their anger. And I think one of the things that worsened things for the APC in Osun State is the defection of so many people. You know, I've talked about it many times. The nature of some APC leaders is to describe those who are defecting as never do well, insignificant people, and all that. Sometimes they even deceive themselves that, oh, those who have defected have no value, you know. But we have seen, we've seen someone defect from that's the Secretary of State government, defect, Moshood Adeoti defected, and went on to win by a big margin in a war. You can imagine if 16,000 votes, 16,000 margin. So you can imagine if Adeoti had remained, and they had the opportunity to convince these people to stay. Let them know that the future will be better. The arrogance with which some APC leaders, you can see what's happening in Kaduna and a few other places. You see someone like Nkui, who all along had been a fantastic grassroots politician, and you think that, okay, him leaving amounts to nothing. I mean, it's only people, funny characters who deceive themselves like this. And we've seen now, look at in Ijesha land. You know how many people defected from the party. Struggling in Ijesha land. He had to struggle. APC lost 4 out of 6 local governments in Ijesha land. And that is not good enough. So all of those, remember the deputy chairman who eventually defected. That's, I think, Electoral West, the local government chairman, Electoral West. They were the people who made life unbearable for APC in Ijesha land. The governor shouldn't be struggling to win his local government.
It shouldn't.
Adeleke won with over 33,000 votes in his
This is the thing. It shouldn't. Yes, we know that this election, money played a big part. No doubt about it. But overall, when you look at things, in Osogbo, Osogbo has always been the fortress of the APC.
Honestly.
From 2007, when Symbol got involved in politics in the Osun State, they've never failed to win every polling unit. Every polling unit. In fact, in 2014, the winning margin was 39,000 to 11,000. To show you the preeminence of the APC in Osogbo. But this time around, they only won by 8,800 margin. You know? So, across board, you see that
struggling.
The party was struggling. Even in terms of money politics that has now come to stay. There is nowhere, this election in Osun, when we are talking about vote buying, it is the worst in Nigerian history. What happened in Osun is the worst. It's worse
people
than,
might not see it physically.
Worse than what happened in other places. People, they were going into people's homes to lure them with money. And not only that, you know what they were doing? Just to ensure that, okay, they give people money and they vote for them. They put den gun on the ground and they will tell people to jump over the den gun. It's a form of oath-taking. I'm telling you what happened at the election. It's a form of oath-taking. So that once you take the money from them, for as little as 3,000 naira, Osun people were jumping over den gun. For as little as 3,000 naira, some of them were drinking a concussion. Just to say, look, that's the level to which poverty can push a man. Someone told me that when people were so impoverished, some people were so impoverished in Osun, we saw Okada riders snatching civil servants' wives. We now know that, yes, there is problem. You know, remember that musician who said, "I any problem." You know, so you don't know that there is problem. Me at any problem. That boy, I like that. Reminisce. He said at that point he knew that problem had come. But the thing is, one of the greatest, if APC wants to play money politics or vote buying like the PDP, then it has to be as organized. I'm not preaching it, but in this election, both parties bought votes, but the PDP was much more organized in terms of monitoring the people that they gave money to ensure that they voted. They went, even EOs. You saw what happened with the video that has gone viral. You will see that even EOs, electoral officers, were compromised. Security men were compromised. Vote buying really came to Osun State like it has come to stay.
The story that I'm hearing is so sad. If people can take hold and cross den guns because of 3,000 naira, it shows the level of poverty that we have put our people to. And it's an indictment on our leaders that they are not about the people. They are not really giving the people good government, because the essence of governance is for you to better the lives of people. And then we have to look at our political evolution. Because of the way money plays a major role in our politics, it is very difficult for new parties to emerge and make the difference. It's because they don't have the wherewithal to do that. They don't even have the organization to be able to compete with these people. Because if you go to people's homes and you pay 3,000 naira for them, if you take people from villages and go and camp them somewhere, we are talking of billions.
Yes.
We're talking of billions. So now it has gotten to a stage where this country, if we are not careful, we are going to the abyss, because we deceive ourselves that we are practicing democracy. But if people need billions to be able to buy votes, and if people, Nigerian people who are supposed to vote their leaders and determine who governs them, can willingly arrive to vote for people by being paid 3,000 naira, then there is no future for all of us.
Yes.
Like he said, those who are going to now become leaders were those who does not care about us. It's about them As in fact, they've already bought the right to rule over us. So whatever they, so we are not practicing democracy. We are just deluding ourselves that we are practicing democracy. Which democracy? If people can come and say, look, come and swear for me and collect 3,000 and pay so that I can confirm that you will actually vote for me. And they do that willingly. Then we are in trouble.
It's monetocracy that we are practicing.
Because I want to ask, how did it descend this low? You know, it never used to be like this.
When someone adopts a method, you know, Nigeria, we are very good at copy. I remember when pure water came up, I think around 93, 94. Everybody now, in the past, you just ordinary this bread nylon that you put water in. Everybody began to do pure water. Once you do something and you appear to succeed with it, even people, the least qualified Nigerians will want to copy what you have done. The vote buying became rampant during the election in Edo State. It came to Ondo. It was in Ondo that we had the Bofunwako Sebe.
Yeah.
You know, people did not talk about it. It got to Ekiti. They even now made it an electronic, they introduced an electronic variety of it. People did not think that danger was looming. So why should anybody expect that the election in Ekiti, I mean in Osun, will be determined by how many roads Aregbesola builds, or the fact that is working on a gigantic water treatment.
Yes, at
Ilesha. Because it's that at Ilesha that he had to struggle to even win his local government. You know?
They don't care.
The thing is, when a governor performs, a governor like Aregbesola, knowing that he had worked, will feel like, okay, the voting has ended in Ilesha, let me go back to the government house to monitor things. You think you are confident in your work. But as it turned out, his foot soldiers had to struggle and struggle, yet they got beaten even in Ilesha. You know, so our electoral behavior, the behavior of the Nigerian voter is changing day by day, and it's extremely worrisome that this is what we are degenerating to. I was talking about a village where they are moving people, they are trying to camp people because they know that village will be part of where the election will take place. That's in Orolu, that's Ifon. In Ifon, they are moving people out to go and camp them with the intention of unleashing them on election day. You take their PVCs, camp them, pay them hefty sum. Look, it's degenerating
them like
now.
Delegates.
Yes, they will now get the kind of money that politicians used to give delegates. At this stage now, don't be surprised because people are already being offered 100,000 naira for a vote.
Wow.
And it will move, as we move closer to election day, it will go as high as 300 to 500,000.
Because we're just talking about 3,000 people here.
I'm telling you what is happening.
It's even less than 3,000.
I'm telling you what is happening in Osun now. Babajide Kolade was arrested today in Osogbo. You know, Osogbo, a part of Osogbo, there will be, I think, one unit, one polling unit. He was mopping up, according to the police, he was mopping up PVCs for the same purpose of trying to do what I talked about earlier, when the security men moved in and arrested him. People should expect more of that. The fact that only about 3,800 votes are up for grabs makes it even easier. Because what it then means is now, these people can roll out like 1.5 million. So with 1.5 million, if you like, you can pay the voter as much as even 700,000, you know, just to have them vote for you, because you know that if you can get just 1,000 of those people, you know, you probably will have won the election.
If it's APC,
because we know it's not, there's no way that all of those people can vote. But if you get maybe half of them, you get like about 1,500 votes, you are likely to win the election. If you are PDP, for example. So this is shameful. This is where we are.
The rerun on Thursday, will it be between
all the parties are
all the parties. But you see, but most of the other people, that's why there's a realignment.
Yes,
that's why there's a realignment. For example, now Saraki is already in Ife, having a meeting with Omishore. You know, so they will just talk to other people to say, look, tell your supporters not to bother to vote
and they will now, some of them, I know that Saraki will probably go to Lasun and say, look.
Ilobu?
Yeah, because Lasun lost, the APC lost in Lasun's town. You know, and there are 2 major towns in that local government. His own hometown is one of the major, and the election will take place in his town. So they are going to probably reach out to him that, look, you need to support us, this and that. You know, so APC, PDP won Orolu this last time. But APC had never lost in that place. Shocking. Had never lost. Shocking. So they won there, PDP won there. Now there are 2 polling units where election will take place there on Thursday. So PDP would want to do their best to still retain the edge that they have in that area. But the lesson is, if you have party men, they are disgruntled, try to resolve those issues. Don't be arrogant in politics. They do see the post, the Twitter post by Abdul Momino of House of Reps. He said, let our party not be complacent. This idea of saying they can go, Oshomole will be saying, oh, these people, they don't amount to anything. Once he tries to beg them and they don't agree, then he says they are of no value. The president will say they are looters. When you say that, you even encourage them to work harder to make sure that the party is disgraced. So you can imagine where the APC will be today if all of those people defected from the Elisha area, all those ESCO members and all that, if they were still with the party. If someone like Moshood Adeoti had been convinced to remain, there will have been no need for a rerun. So you can't lose people and say that they will not affect you.
46,000 votes in all.
Politics is an inclusive sport. Once you have people on your side, you are in a strong position. But when people leave you, there's no way somehow it will not affect you. 4 House of Assembly members are defected. There's no way that all. We had the APC. Yes, I know. We had the APC. That's true. We had the APC should have won with wide margin. Where they should have won with wide margin. They couldn't win with wide margins because some of those people who defected were nibbling away at their support base. Peter Power, you know, ensure that they didn't get as much. They won some of those places, but they had to struggle to win, which was not the case in the past.
Okay, moving on now. An enlarged political space is a major ingredient that oils participatory democracy. The people of Adamawa State in northeast Nigeria are spoiled for choice ahead of the 2019 governorship election. In the state, many political gladiators have signified interest to take a shot at the Adamawa governorship seats. More are still throwing their hats into the ring. Pioneer chairman of the EFCC and presidential candidate of the defunct Action Congress of Nigeria, ACN, Nuhu Ribadu, has joined the 2019 governorship race. At the declaration of his intention on Saturday, Ribadu promised to run an all-inclusive government if elected as governor. Mayor, let me start from you. Nuhu Ribadu.
I like Nuhu Ribadu. I like him. I think he's a very intelligent man. But I don't like his politics. He doesn't seem to know what he wants. He doesn't know what he wants.
He wants to be governor. That's what he wants.
Today, he will say he wants to be president. He will run for president. Tomorrow, he will say he wants to be governor, which is, to me, is a step down. Because if you think you are good enough to be president of Nigeria, and you actually ran to be president of Nigeria, saying that you want to be governor is a step down.
Well, Korocha too wanted to be president.
I know. No? That's why I said
2 times.
It's a step down.
But when it didn't work, he became governor.
I think it will be a good governor.
He was on a rescue mission.
I think it will be a good governor because when he was EFCC chair, yes, there were some excesses, but he performed creditably well. And he's somebody that is cerebral, somebody that is brilliant. If the people of Adamawa, but you see, politics is not for the best candidates. That's just the tragedy of politics. It's not for the best candidate. So no matter how brilliant you are, if you don't have that connection with those who are going to give you the votes or the issues involved that will give you votes, like vote buying that we're talking about, if you don't have the things that are important for you to win elections, no matter how brilliant you are, you may not win. And Adamawa is going to be a battleground in the next election because a lot of forces that are moving out from APC.
Political heavyweights.
Yes, that are moving out from APC. It depends on where they decide to now contest eventually. So, it's going to be a very interesting thing. But I think if he has the opportunity of becoming governor, he will be a good governor.
At a point in time, under the regime of former President Goodluck Jonathan, you actually went to the People's Democratic Party and he joined the People's Democratic Party. He contested and was very close to it before that court case just came from somewhere and reinstated a former governor.
I think he
was almost getting
has some level of credibility, even right from the time he was in the police before he became the EFCC chair. And when you look at his tenure, irrespective of the conscious attempt by the state under Obasanjo to use EFCC as a political tool, I think Nuhu Ribadu was able to gain some level of public reputation. But I think the challenge I see with him is this, what looks like a flirtatious political tradition. He was the ACN presidential candidate. And I think he came third. He scored about 2 million plus, following President Buhari then, who scored 12 million. And Jonathan scored about 22 million. Then in 2015, he contested for the governor of Adamawa State and came third. He was even beaten to the top place by SDP candidate, you know, with 98,000 votes. So now coming again to contest for the same position, I'm not sure there has been a fundamental change that will make people to now, because as at the time he came third, the PDP was controlling the federal government, and at the end of the day, could not make much impact. So I don't know how he's going to be able to win that gubernatorial election, even if he emerges as the APC candidate. But if he manages to win the primary, I think he stands a better chance, given the geopolitical consideration as at now. If he wins the primary, it's most likely that he will emerge as governor of Adamawa State. But I think he looks like somebody that is likely to make, you know, a very good governor if he wins. Governor
Bindo is very vulnerable, even from the flank of the PDP. From the flank of the Babame Mongoro, the Yaku that might have left the party to go and, you know, pitch their tent elsewhere. And even within the All Progressive Congress, how are we looking at the calculation between within Adamawa State?
Now, you know, initially the SEC in Adamawa APC, the SEC said they were endorsing Bindo. And Bindo, by fiat, also said every member of the House of Assembly, the House of Reps and the Senate will get automatic ticket. Why? Just because they attended his rally, the Harts County crowd. At the end of the day, they realized that fully that INEC would not accept anything like endorsement. It has to be either direct or indirect primaries or consensus. So because, and immediately Ribadu signified interest. Then they came back to say, okay, it is what the party at the national level wants that we do. So the issue of endorsement of Governor Bindo has already been quashed because the party chairman in the state has now said, yes, no more endorsement of the governor. A level playing field will be created for all the contestants. Now, there is someone that people are really not talking about, the younger brother of the wife of the president, Dr. Halil Modi. Halil Modi entered the race. And as soon as he entered the race, the SEC of APC in Adamawa was split into two. the Babajide David Lawal faction. You know, Babajide David Lawal being a former vice chairman Northeast of APC, qualifies automatically to belong in the SEC of Adamawa State. So Babajide Lawal is leading a faction of the party, a faction of the SEC that has now endorsed Dr. Halil Modi. So Dr. Halil Modi now is being prevailed upon to step down because they see him as the greatest threat to Bindo in terms of influence and all that. You saw the picture of him with President Buhari after he got his nomination form. So they sense that even some of the delegates that the governor had long courted could eventually go to support Modi if members of the cabal play their usual game. So they are really, Bindo is terrified now about the prospect of Modi being in the race with him. So I don't know whether Modi will eventually agree to step down, but what some of his supporters are saying is, if eventually he's going to step down, it will be for Nuhu Ribadu and not Bindo, because as far as all of them are concerned, Bindo has failed as a governor. If you heard what Nuhu Ribadu said, he said Bindo has not added a single school. He has not added a single health facility to the stock in Adamawa State. And so his popularity has gone down. Before even the former chief of staff in the state died in Mecca, he went to a place, Abdurrahman, and he appeared to say certain negative things about the Fulani by saying, oh, because Bindo is minority, by saying, oh, this is the government of the minority. And for now, that has turned Bindo, turned the Fulani against Bindo in the state. So it's a very interesting contest within the APC. This contest in Adama and what we have in Borno, where about 22 aspirants are jostling for the governorship ticket of the APC in Borno State. Those are the two that I'm really watching out for in northern Nigeria, because 22 persons, and each of them paid the millions that, so the party made more than 400 and something million.
Mayor, do you see Ribadu clinching that ticket at the expense of that governor?
I don't think so. I don't think so, because why I said so is that you see, especially in that part, it will be very difficult for an outsider. I would rather think that Modi stands a better chance than Ribadu.
It's difficult to predict. It's politics. There could be all sorts of realignment. For now, I think it's too early to know who can actually win the primary.
I want to thank you so much, Mayor Akipolu, for being our guest today. It's been a while. Wale Adeoye, thank you so much. And the award-winning Babajide Kolade-Otitoju, thank you for always making the program tick. And that's it on Journalist Hangout. Join us tomorrow for another interesting episode of the program. You can also watch Journalist Hangout on our platform showing on the screen. We are also on YouTube, youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. Our feedback channel is Journalist Hangouts at tvcnews.tv. I'm Ayodele Ozubako. See you tomorrow. God bless Nigeria.